Hi, this is Dr. Sutherland from Rainier Medical, and I'm going to give you a brief orientation to our expeditions plan. This is a time course that shows you about what you should expect for your weight loss program. As you can see, you have already undergone your evaluation at your starting weight. The first step is a very basic plan, very structured. That's called our expeditions basic plan. That lasts about 4 weeks or until about 10% of your body weight has been decreased. So that duration, of course, varies a little bit based on your starting body weight, but about 4 weeks or 10% of your body weight. After that, for the next weight loss phase, we can introduce some variety to your meal plan if you'd like. It is optional. You can stay on the basic plan if that works best for you. During that phase, um, about 10 to 25% of your body weight is lost. Again, as long as that's appropriate with your weight loss goals that was set during your evaluation phase. When you are 5 to 10 pounds from your goal weight, about 5 pounds for women and 10 pounds for men, that's when we will transition from the expeditions plan, which we're doing the orientation for in this video, and we'll move to the next program, which is the Summit Plan. That's also a transition plan. And then when you get to your goal weight after losing that last 5 to 10%, then we'll move to the Peak Plan, which is also our maintenance plan. So on to the Expeditions Basic Plan. Remember, this is not a casual diet. It is a medical protocol. It's been used for decades and improved and studied, and so we are reproducing a medical protocol. This is not a maintenance lifestyle plan. That comes later. We have to get to our goal weight first before we can maintain it. This plan is for men with at least 40 pounds to lose or women with at least 30 pounds to lose. It does require a written informed consent form. Again, it is a medical protocol. It does require medical screening and medical supervision. Not everybody will be a candidate for this program. There may be medical contraindications, and so do not try this at home alone. It does require medical supervision to reduce the risk of any side effects or problems. So again, caution. And during this phase, all nutrition comes from medical foods from Rainier Medical. Those are fortified and supplemented with electrolytes and vitamins that are needed. When a person is on a very low calorie diet, there are a lot of electrolytes that are lost in the urine, and there can be low sodium or low magnesium or different problems if you're not getting enough. And so that is why we use the medical foods for, in addition to other benefits. There's another video on that. But do be prepared to get all of your nutrition during this phase. And if you decide you don't want to get your nutrition that way, then we just need to change programs. And so that can still be safe for you. So just communicate with us. There's many things that can go on with people. Again, do not exchange commercial products or other products because your instructions and your plans are assuming that you are using these and those components. And our first priority is safety. And so just communicate with us so that we can do what is safe for you. But they are different than other products. During this phase and this program, there's no alcohol. Alcohol it's not just the calories. The ethanol can inhibit the process of turning fat into fuel. And of course, during this phase, you're primarily running on your stored fat for energy. And so if the alcohol is interfering with that, you can get a low blood sugar and you can get ketoacidosis, it's called, and that can be serious and sometimes fatal. So if you need to drink alcohol for whatever reason, then you should put this program on hold and consume carbohydrates and then communicate with us about what is safe for you. During this phase, especially during this first 4 weeks, intense exercise can actually impair results, increase risks, and increase physical side effects and symptoms. So if you're currently participating in intense exercise with very high heart rates where you're sweaty and out of breath, then during this phase, you want to reduce the intensity so that you can comfortably speak in a full sentence and you are only doing 30 minutes or less. And that way, the program and protocol will be safest and effective. It takes about 3 weeks for muscles to adapt to running on fat for fuel. And so this isn't long term, but just until your body adapts. And we can individualize based on various factors. But intense exercise can lead to feeling dizzy or lightheaded, and it can lead to increased muscle loss, increased hunger, and it can actually impair weight loss, which is not an expected result for most people. So walking is generally fine if that's something that you're doing, and it's just especially for the first 3 weeks. We encourage you to follow the protocol as closely as possible and discuss any barriers to that with our team, because the closer that you follow it, the best it will be tolerated and the best outcome and results that you'll get. We have a lot of experience with this tried and true protocol, so just communicate with us. But we encourage you to get the most out of the protocol and the experience. Most people have done various other things before they come to Rainier Medical. So we really encourage you to take advantage of the excellent program that you've signed up for. And not that it's the only way to lose weight, but typically you can get the best results if you're kind of focused on one thing at a time. So let's do this for now, and let's let you see for yourself the outcome and how you feel. And again, just communicate with us if you're having any barriers that you're encountering. So here's the plan. As you can see, it's very simple. It doesn't always mean that it's easy, but we hope that you'll find that it's easier than expected. So the plan is 4 smoothies, 1 bar, 86 ounces of water, an essential fatty acid supplement, and that's it. Very straightforward, very simple. Of course, there'll be many questions and special situations, but always go back to these basics. And if you just go back to the plan, that actually can solve and address most of the issues, questions, problems that arise. Just going back to the basic plan. Most problems come from simply deviating from the plan. And if there's any challenges with following that plan, whether it's schedule or hunger or cravings or fatigue or anything, that's what we're here for. So just communicate with us what your experience is and take advantage of us as your team. These meals, there's 5 eating occasions, and you want to space them out evenly throughout the day. A common schedule is listed here: 7, 10, 1, 4, and 7. There may be minor changes based on your schedule, but the idea is that they're evenly spread out, so without huge gaps in your meals. This has many benefits, but if you just stick to this, that is what the protocol is. If you work a special shift, if you work nights, if you work 24 hours at a time, the protocol you should follow is have your first meal within an hour of waking up and then eat every 3 hours thereafter while you're awake. So if you have a very long day, you may have an extra meal, but you'll need to fuel your body as long as you're going. And it generally evens out because you may rest or sleep for an extended period of time. So it's called nutrient timing. Eat your first meal within an hour of waking up, and then one every 3 hours after that. Some people are not used to eating breakfast, and this may not be very comfortable for them at the beginning. And talk with us if that's true for you, and get as close as possible, and then try to inch it towards this schedule. Many people will set alarms on their cell phones. Make sure they always have their next shake with them, or a bar and some water, so that if it comes time to eat, they're prepared. You'll be able to select your own medical foods. For the starting phase, the basic expeditions plan, it's 4 smoothies and 1 bar. There are many different options with the medical foods, but we do tend to start out very simple, and that gives us the opportunity to add variety later, and it also allows you to really focus on the timing and getting in your water without having to learn how to prepare different foods that might require a little more time. So we really keep it as simple as possible at first, let you get in the groove, get in the routine, see results, see that it's going to work, leave very little room for variability or error, and go from there. The smoothies are the most important part of the plan. They have the best formulation for the weight loss. There are many other different options that allow for variety in taste and in texture, but it's important to focus on the smoothies. One of the common pitfalls is that people aren't getting in enough smoothies. And there's many different ways to adjust the taste. They come separately with a base and a flavor packet. The base is the most important part. We have a recipe book. So again, any issues with taste or texture, there's different ways of preparing them as far as blenders or ice. And so it's, if you just mix them with 8 ounces of water in a blender bottle, then they mix nicely. You can add ice to them afterwards, and they'll be very smooth. But any challenges or just differences in preferences, let us know so that we can make it likable and tolerable for you also. During this phase, limit bars to 1 per day. The bars are delicious, and it's great to have one on hand in case you're in a hurry and can't make a smoothie. But don't rely on having them as your primary meal replacement on a regular basis, because they are slightly different in composition than the meal replacements, including the smoothies. And so try to limit the bars to 1 per day typically. The first 2 weeks especially is very important to have it very closely follow the protocol. This is long enough for people to get through the nutritional ketosis adaptation, get through withdrawal from a typical American diet, get through any keto flu-like symptoms. And so from there, you'll be able to see what your body feels like and how it responds. And so if we start adding in different foods or different patterns, you'll be able to compare it to these gold standard results. So after that first 2 weeks, the first substitution you can make for the smoothies for some variety are the pastas and the soups and the chips. Those are great for people who prefer salty and savory over sweet, and for people who really want to chew. So it seems like people fall into a couple different patterns. People who like meals to be quick and simple, they don't mind drinking them, versus people who really get gratification from chewing and feel best when they get to chew food. And then people who prefer sweet things or enjoy sweet things, or people who prefer salty, crunchy, savory things. So there's options for both. And don't worry, just pick what you like. The most important thing is that you like the plan and you like your foods, so that then you can follow it. And don't worry, we will monitor your body composition and I will let you know if there's any issues with what you're doing. It's great if the first two meals can be smoothies. That really gets your day off to a great result. They have the most protein in them, and so they confer the most satiety and satiation. And after having not eaten all night, that really helps support your lean body mass. So we really find that if people are late on their morning smoothies or miss their morning smoothies, that they can get behind and have challenges later in the day and not even realize it's from missing their smoothies at 7 and 10 a.m. So this is what 2 weeks of food looks like for the Expeditions Basic Plan. You can see that there are 8 boxes of smoothies and 2 boxes of bars. You can get a variety of different flavors, so you don't have to have the same flavor every day. Or if you have a favorite, some people use one flavor the whole time. Really offers flexibility. There's also in the middle a berry blast drink. That is called a daily enhancer. It doesn't count towards your daily total. It's always great to have one of these on hand. It's really just protein and you add it to your water, and it can either help you drink your water or get through any craving or support you if you have a hungrier day. That can sometimes happen for various reasons, like if you have more stress or less sleep or more activity. And so that's a fail-safe backup that you can always add. And it really helps you learn some intuitive eating, which is following your own body's signals, and it sets you up great for maintenance to start having that intuitive eating as part of your structure. So nutrient timing. This is the concept of eating on a schedule. During this nutritional ketosis, very low calorie diet, you may not have physical hunger cues. This varies from person to person, of course, but nutrient timing is eating on a schedule. It's kind of the opposite of intermittent fasting or intuitive eating. In this, you will eat on schedule. So you want to get started well. So you want your breakfast within 1 hour of waking up. If you really can't stomach breakfast, if you get nauseous, you can use your protein supplement within an hour of waking up. Some people like the cappuccino or the hot cocoa, or they'll put a vanilla smoothie in with their coffee, and that's how we can get past if somebody's not used to eating breakfast. When you're having your smoothie or your meal, you want to consume the whole thing within 20 minutes of the start. So we find sometimes people will just sip on them and it'll take an hour and a half to consume the whole thing, and it's not as effective. People may feel hungry, or we might not see the best support of that lean body mass. If for any reason this is a challenge, you can mix the smoothies in as little as 5 ounces of water, so it's a smaller volume. And you can make sure you're not filling yourself up on coffee or plain water so that you can get in your full nutrition within 20 minutes. Again, you just want to eat every 3 hours while awake. If you miss a meal, it's really hard to make it up. It's probably just gone for the day. And so you really want to try to be prepared so you can get your food in on time. If for some reason you expect to consume extra calories, if you have a special occasion, we encourage you to just follow your normal schedule for the remainder of the day. If you skip meals to save the calories to consume them later, you tend to end up not feeling your best, feeling tired or hungry. So it's better to consume a few extra calories or a couple hundred extra calories than to skip one of your scheduled meals. An idea for getting through normal life is if you keep variation to under 30 minutes as far as your meal times. So if it's due at 10 and you get it by 10:30, then you're doing great. And if you find that your schedule is different or your preferences are different, sometimes people are hungrier in the afternoon or hungrier in the morning. And so we'll adjust a time to be a little earlier or a little later. We just find a schedule and then are consistent and stick to it. And that way we can make observations in both how you feel and what your results are. And again, we tend to find that the plan that works best is the one on which you feel the best. So that's part of what we do during your weekly visits. About day 3, you can experience the keto flu. And so I try to prepare people for the worst and hope for the best. These symptoms can range from very mild or not noticeable to moderate or something that may affect your function. These can make you feel like you're tired or have a headache or you're lightheaded or like your muscles just don't have the energy to get up and go. This typically happens on day 3, and then on day 4, it tends to get much better or be gone. Although people can take up to a month to adapt to nutritional ketosis. There's a saying that it takes 3 days to get into ketosis and 30 minutes to get out. So once you go through the adaptation phase, we encourage you to try to stay in that state so that you don't have to keep going in and out. If you're going in and out of ketosis, then you can experience these symptoms over and over again. And instead of that, I'd recommend that we just switch to our peak plan, which is non-ketogenic, so that you don't have to go in and out of those symptoms. But the benefits once you're in ketosis are many, from natural hunger control to preserving lean body mass. Sometimes people notice improved symptoms of inflammation even before weight is lost. Some people notice better sleep, clearer thought patterns. So there is a reason that you're going through it. Um, of course, don't operate heavy machinery or fly an airplane or drive a car if you're impaired in any way. And if you have one of these high risk occupations, then we encourage you to just transition slowly. And it may take longer, but there shouldn't be these withdrawal symptoms. You can take acetaminophen if you have a headache. If you don't have high blood pressure or any other condition like heart failure or kidney failure, then a little extra salt can help with some of these symptoms. But of course, uh, communicate with me or your primary care physician about whether you need to be limiting salt strictly. If you experience hunger during this adaptation phase, simply consume an extra medical food. There's no need to have your discomfort level be very high, and we just need to get you through this and on to the next phase. What's happening during this is that you're switching from running on food to running on fat, and the body, in the meantime, goes through a phase where it really can feel like it doesn't have any fuel. And the brain and the muscles tend to be the most sensitive to this. Beverages. So the important things with beverages, again, for the expeditions and all ketogenic plans, no alcohol is recommended. Many people ask about coffee. Coffee is allowed. If you're used to drinking coffee, make sure you still get a cup of coffee, or else you can add caffeine withdrawal headache to the side effects of this program. Account for the calories and the carbohydrates in any lightener. And the guideline is that you want to consume less than 10 grams of extra carbohydrates during the expeditions and even the summit plan. And remember, all calories count. So if you're putting fat in your coffee, then you will burn less of your own fat. We, of course, encourage mostly plain water. Some of the problems with these zero-calorie beverages are not the beverages themselves, it's that they are taking the place of plain water, or they are suppressing appetite so that a person is skipping breakfast or they're not hungry for their scheduled meal. So remember, you always need to follow the plan. If we go back to those basics, if you're following the plan, including all the water and staying on schedule, and you're having a cup of coffee or two, then it's unlikely to negatively affect your outcome. So exercise, the important thing about exercise to embrace is that weight loss is going to come from the nutrition plan. So you don't need to exercise to lose weight during this plan. So I hope that gives some peace of mind. If you are already exercising, then in general, we just need to make sure it's not too intense or too long while your muscles are adapting. If you're not exercising before you start this plan, we do not talk about starting exercise until after that 3 weeks, which is the most common time interval for your muscles to adapt. Sometimes after a week or two, people are already feeling better and they feel like being more active, and physical activity is okay. So, physical activity is taking your dog for a walk, going for a walk around the block. If you're feeling well and you want to do it, that's great. That's not what we're talking about here. So, again, if you're already exercising, think about 30 minutes. Think about something where you can speak comfortably in a full sentence. If you're going to some sort of group exercise at a certain time of day, we encourage you to keep up that habit. There's many different benefits of having that habit and that time in your schedule. And typically, they're very flexible about reducing the intensity for a period of time. So your body will lose weight best if once you start to exercise, you focus on things that are moderate intensity and really have that balance of resistance exercise as well as aerobic exercise. So think walking and resistance bands or body weight or light weights. Your individual exercise prescription will depend on your body type, body composition, any medical restrictions that you have. So refer to our body composition video and blog for more information, and all of the exercise blogs for more insight and information on what kind of exercise is best for you when you're ready to start. But think walking and some light resistance exercise, working up to 30 minutes a day. So again, as far as intensity, you shouldn't be sweaty and out of breath. You should be able to speak in a full sentence. So during the expedition's basic plan, no high intensity exercise or heavy weights or prolonged exercise. Prolonged is more than 45 to 60 minutes. If you're going to the gym for 60 minutes, there may be 15 or 20 minutes that's stretching or light core work. And so you can think 30 minutes of exercise and 15 to 20 of other things. And again, physical activity is encouraged. That's walking, that's activities, that's going out, taking your dog for a walk, going to the dog park. So we don't want this to feel like a limitation. Just communicate with us and we'll interpret what's best for you based on your background. So during this phase, you may experience bowel changes. They are common. Of course, you're changing your diet completely, and so that is not unexpected. You may have anything varying from constipation to diarrhea or gas as well. You can use over-the-counter things like Gas-X or Imodium or a stool softener. This is not a complete guide to the program. We encourage you to refer to our written guide and discuss all of your individual situations during your follow-up visits. Thank you.